This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Well, in the last class, we discussed about joins. So we have seen how to do the joins, different types of joins like normal join, left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. Okay, so if the joining tables are from same schema or from same database, okay, then what we can do is we can delete the source qualifier from the mapping if there are multiple source qualifiers. We can keep only one source qualifier, and whatever deleted source qualifiers corresponding source definitions we have to copy to the first source qualifier. There we can write the join query. So before writing the query, we have to connect from source qualifier to the target definition, and then only we have to write the query inside the source qualifier transformation. So like that we can join a number of tables. So whereas if the joining tables are from different databases or from different schemas, then we cannot delete the source qualifier. So instead of deleting the source qualifier, what we can do is we have to create a joiner transformation in the mapping. So by using the joiner transformation also, we can join the tables if they are from same database or from different databases, but mainly joiner transformation we use to join the tables if they are from, like a different database. Okay, so there are two important points which we have to remember inside the joiner transformation. Okay, so we'll see what are those two important points. Let me open the designer tool. Still it is taking time. Okay, still it is taking some time. Just now I've started the services, so that's the reason. Fine. So we'll discuss first and then we'll see what are those points. Basically, inside the joiner transformation, to join the tables, we add a join condition, right? We are not going to write a query inside the joiner transformation to join the tables. Okay, like this. So here one of you can see one of the points after creating the joiner transformation. So we have to add join condition and we have to select the join type, right? So when you add the join condition inside the join condition, so there we will get the equal to operator by default. Okay, so generally, like in between the join conditions or in between the columns in a join condition, most of the times we use equal to operator only. Okay, while joining the table based on a specific column, most of the times we use equal to operator. But there are some cases where we use less than operator, greater than operator, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to operators also we use in join condition. Okay, so whereas in join or transformation we don't have any option to change that operator or to use less than operator inside the join condition, or greater when like other than equal to operators we cannot use inside the join or transformation condition. So equal to operator is fixed inside the join or transformation in join condition, so we cannot use other than equal to operator. So sometimes if you have the requirement to use less than operator or greater than operator or less than or equal to greater than or equal to operators, then you cannot use the joiner transformation. So here if you see inside the joiner transformation under condition. So this is the operator I was talking about. So operator here we have equal to operator. It is not always we use equal to operator in join conditions. Sometimes we also use here less than operator, greater than operator, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to operators also we use in join condition. But joiner transformation doesn't support other than equal to operators because this is fixed. You cannot change this operator. So if you have requirement to use other than equal to operators, we cannot use joiner transformation because we know joiner transformation supports only equal to operator in the join condition. Okay, that is one limited option we have. And the second one is, so after joining these two source tables, employee and department, now I want to filter the data. Okay, so in last class we were discussing about after writing the query inside the source qualifier transformation to join the tables if they are from same database. So if you want to filter the data or if you want to select the specific record from that, from that join result set, there inside the source qualifier join query, we can also write a where class, right? Where suppose let's say if you want to process only department number 10, you can write where department number is equals to 10, right? So that query, even though it has selected multiple department records after joining both the sources, since in where class we have written DNO equal to 10, so it will process only those records. Okay, and also after joining, if you want to select the specific columns, right? So after joining, if you want to select the specific columns, there in the join query, you can select the specific columns. In a select statement, you can write those specific columns, whatever you want. So here in this query, whatever query here we have written. So since we have written star here because we have connected all the columns from source qualifier to the target definition. But sometimes we don't want to connect all the columns. We don't want to select all the columns. We want to select the specific columns. So then in that case, in place of star, you can write the specific columns, whatever you are looking for. Okay, or whatever the columns you want to select, those specific columns you can write in this select statement. Okay, and also here you can write a where class to select the specific rows from the result set, from this joint result set. So if you want to select the specific rows and the specific columns, you can also write a where class here so that it will set only specific rows and the specific columns. Whereas in joiner transformation, we don't have such option to write a query. If you go to the properties, we don't have any property here to write a query inside the joiner transformation to select the specific rows. Okay, so if you use joiner transformation, if that joiner transformation after joining these two sources, if it has written, let's say 10 rows, so joiner transformation will pass all the 10 rows to the next transformation. It will not filter any of the records. We don't have such option here inside the joiner transformation to filter the data or to select the specific records after joining multiple sources. Okay, these two are the limited options we have in joiner transformation. So if you don't want to use other than equal to operator, yes, you can go ahead and create a joiner transformation if the joining tables are from different database. In the same way, if you don't want to filter the data after joining, you want to load all the records from joint result set, then yes, you can create a joiner transformation. But sometimes we don't want to select all the records after joining. Okay, so we don't want to select all the columns after joining, or we don't want to use equal to operator, we have to use less than operator. Then in that case, you cannot use joiner transformation. Okay, so to overcome these joiner transformation limitations, we have another transformation called lookup transformation. Okay, So lookup is most important. Compare with joiner, lookup transformation 100% we create in real time in many of our scenarios to join the tables. So lookup transformation we have to join the tables if they are from same database or from different database also. We use lookup transformation to join the tables. Okay, so if they are from same database or from different database also, we can use lookup transformation. Not only databases, we can also use lookup transformation to join the flat files. Okay, so we can all generally we cannot join the files, right? So there by using lookup transformation, we can also join the flat files. Okay, or we can have one source as a relational table, the other one is a flat file. Table with a file also we can use by using the joiner transformation. So here joiner transformation also we can join one is a table, the other one is a flat file also. We can use joiner transformation to join table with a file. Same way, there in lookup transformation also, we can use a table with a file to join two sources or two heterogeneous sources. Or if the tables are, most of the times, if the tables are from same database, we are not going to use joiner or lookup transformation. Directly, we can write a query inside the source qualifier to join the tables. But if they are from different schemas or from different databases, to join those tables, we can use joiner transformation or lookup transformation. As I told, joiner transformation, there we have those limited options. Like we can use only equal to operator and we cannot filter the data after joining. That's why to overcome that, we also use lookup transformation in the mapping. By using the lookup transformation also, we can join the tables if they are from same database or from different databases. In lookup transformation, in join condition, we can use equal to operator, less than operator, greater than operator, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to, all these operators we have in lookup join condition. So whatever the operators we want, we can select. There will be a select list. From that list, we can select whatever the operator we want to use in a join condition. Okay. So as I told, if you want to use other than equal to operator, 100% we can create lookup transformation to join the tables, whereas we cannot use other than equal to operators inside the joiner transformation. And also, after joining the tables, if you want to select the specific rows, as I told, suppose let's say in a table we have active records and inactive records. Okay, so after joining, I want to select only active records. Here we don't have any such option to filter the data after joining inside the joiner transformation. Whereas in lookup transformation, there we have an option to write a SQL query. The way how we have the option here inside the properties to write the query. In the same way, inside the lookup transformation also, we have a property to write the SQL query. Okay, so if you write the SQL query, so whatever the records written by that lookup transformation or that SQL query, so like we can filter the data after joining the tables, and also we can select the specific records after joining multiple sources. So like that, we have many other advanced features inside the lookup transformation. Okay, so that's the reason most of the times to join the tables we use lookup transformation. Compare with the joiner, we use lookup transformation. So in interview, they will ask, tell me what is the difference between joiner and lookup transformation. Currently, I have explained only two differences. One is writing the operators inside the condition. Joiner allows only equal to, whereas lookup allows other than equal to also. Whereas on second difference is we cannot write any query to filter the join data inside the joiner transformation. Whereas in lookup transformation, we can write the query to filter the data after joining. Okay, these two are the first differences between joiner and lookup. So once we start again lookup transformation, there you will come to know what other features we have inside the lookup transformation. Okay, so before we start the lookup transformation, okay, so we'll start with the scenarios. So today we'll discuss some two scenarios, and after that, in the next class, we will start the lookup transformation. So in one lookup transformation, we have many things to discuss. Okay, so lookup itself will take time. It will take two classes, only one transformation to discuss. There are many scenarios or many things to discuss inside the lookup transformation. So before we start the lookup transformation, so we'll start with the scenarios and then we will go to the lookup transformation. So the first scenario is session level update else insert, or we also call it as SCD type 1. So what is meant by SCD type 1? So we know SCD type 1 maintains the latest data or current data in the target table. So if you maintain the latest data or current data in the target table, that is called SCD type 1, slowly changing dimension type 1. So where we have the latest data or current data, what it means. Suppose let's say you have the source table like this, EMP SCD, or I will write like this, session level update insert underscore yes, employee number, employee name, address. Like this we have 1A HYD, 2B VLR, 3C CNI. So like this we have a source table. Okay, and the target table. So apart from these source columns, here we have create date and update date. Create date and update date. So like this we have created update date columns also in target table. Okay, now so whenever we talk about insert else update or update else insert or SRE type 1, type 2 or type 3, it is mandatory to have primary key constraint on the target table in one of the columns. Okay, so what is primary key and how to create a primary key constraint, that we'll see. Okay, I will show you practically creating the constraint on target employee number. Okay, now, so before that, we should have to understand what is this update else insert or insert else update. This is very important. Okay, so what is this update else insert? What it means? So update else insert or insert else update means, so generally till now whatever the mappings we have created, what will happen if we execute to load the data from source to target table? Those mappings will read the data from the source and they will insert into the target table like this, one after the other it will insert. Okay, now second time if we execute the same mapping, same session, same workflow, what will happen? So those mappings again, it will read all the three records from the source and it will try to insert all the three records into the target table, right? This one practically we have seen. The same duplicate copy is going to be inserted into the target table. Okay, now this time, so if it is going to try to insert like the second time when we execute, if you see there is a primary key constraint. So if there is a primary key constraint on the target table, can you tell me, will it allow to insert the duplicate records like this in that primary key column? Second time if we execute?
No.
No.
No, right? So primary key will not allow to insert the duplicate records. The primary key will not allow to insert the duplicate values. Okay, so it will fail the execution. Okay, so mapping should not allow to insert the records like this second time if we try to execute. So instead of that, instead of trying to insert the data into the target table, so what it should have to do is every time before loading the data or before inserting the data into the target table, it should have to take the source employee number, check in the target table whether the source employee number exists or not. So for the first time, none of the source employee number will be exist. So for the first time, we don't have any data. So first time, take the source employee number, check in the target table employee number column. Do we have source employee number exist inside the target table? No, does not exist. If the source employee number does not exist, or if the source record does not exist in the target table, what do we have to do? Do we have to insert or update? So what we
Insert.
have to do?
Insert.
Insert.
Insert, right? So update else insert means, so the first point, if the source record does not exist in target table, if the source record does not exist in target table, then source record needs to insert into target table. If the source record does not exist in target table, the source record needs to be inserted into the target table. Okay, this is our first point. So we know that since here the source record does not exist in the target table, so the source record needs to be inserted. Okay, so first record it will check before inserting. Since it does not exist, so our mapping should have to insert like this 1A HYD and created here. It should have to load as system date. Okay, so 9/23/2020. So update date also for the first time, it should have to insert as sys date like this. Okay. Next second record, it should have to take the employee number to check in the target table whether the employee number 2 exists or not, does not exist. Since it does not exist, we know that if the source record does not exist in target table, then source record needs to insert into the target table. Since employee number 2 also does not exist, it should have to insert like this 2B BLR and this is state sys date. Next same for the third record also. So take the source employee number, check in the target table. Do we have the source employee number exist in the target table? Does not exist. Since the source employee number does not exist, this one also should be inserted into the target table. Like this, for the first time, all the three records does not exist inside the target table. So that's the reason all the three inserted inside the target table. Okay, fine. Next. Second time if we execute same mapping, same session, same workflow. So if it is a normal mapping, it will try to read the first record again and it will try to insert the first record again into the target table. But this time we don't want to insert. So our mapping, we have to implement a logic such a way that, so before inserting the second record, it should have to check in the existing three records, it should have to check whether the source employee number already exists or not. It should have to check whether the source employee number exists or not. Now tell me, do we have already exist the source employee number in the target table for the employee number 1 or not?
Yeah, we have.
So right, so this time we have already exist. Second time when we execute, so second time before we execute, we already have the source employee number in the target table. Okay, so if the source employee number or if the source record already exists inside the target table, okay, and we also have to check, is there any change between source and target record? For the other columns. So for employee number, if already exists, we have to check for the other columns. Is there any change? So in a source, we have employee name A. Target also we have employee name A. Source we have address as HYD. Target also we have HYD. That means source employee number already exists inside the target table and there is no change between source and target record, right? Source employee number already exists and there is no change between source and target record. Same data we have, same in source also we have an AHYD, target also we have an AHYD. So like this, if we have, if the source record already exists inside the target table and there is no change between source and target record, what do we have to do? Do we have to insert or update or do we have to leave that record as it is?
Leave it as it is.
Right? So we should not touch that record. So if the source record already exists, source record, so if the source record already exists in target table and there is no change between if there is no change between source and target record, then no insert, no update. Okay, so we should not touch that record. No insert, no update. So we just have to leave that record as it is. Okay, so if the source record already exists in target table and there is no change between source and target record, then no insert, no update. We just have to leave that record as it is. So our mapping should not touch that record. It should not update the create date. It should not update the update date. It should have to leave that record as it is. Okay, same for the second record also. Second time if you execute, since for the same employee number we already have exist inside the target table. So for this, there is no change between source and target record. So for this record also, it should not do anything. It should have to leave that record as it is. There is no change. Same for the third record also, it should have to check in the target table. So for this record also, source record already exists inside the target table, and there is no change between source and target record. Since there is no change, no insert, no update. You just have to leave that record as it is, right? So second time after successful of execution, so it should be succeeded, but there is no change. Whatever data we have in the target table, same should present. It should not update the create date or update date because there is no change. Okay, next, another case. So let's say this employee, he has moved H1 to USA on 9/25. So on 9/25, we have got an update here. So this employee has moved to USA on 9/25. Okay, so from front-end application or some from through some job, let's say they have updated the data in the source table. Now, if we execute this mapping on 9/25, let's say today's date is 9/25. This date is 9/25. So this time, if it is 9/25, if our mapping is going to execute, it should have to take the source employee number and check in the target table whether the source employee number exists or not. Yes, exist. If the source employee number already exists inside the target table, we also have to check the other columns. Okay, employee name and address. Okay, so is there any change between source and target record in employee name? No. Whereas address, is there any change between source address and the target address in the target table? Yes, there is a change between source and target record. So any idea? So if there is a change like this, if the source record already exists inside the target table, and if there is any change between source and target record, what do we have to do for this record? Do we have to insert that record in the target table, or do we have to update?
Update.
Update.
So we should have to go for update. So if we are going for update, so can you tell me for that employee number one in target table, which are the columns we have to update?
Address, create date, and update date.
No.
So
No,
which are the
address and
columns?
update date.
So only those columns or any other columns also do we have to update? So we are sure that address we have to update. So since that employee has moved to USA, so we have to update the address. So from HYD to USA we have to update. Apart from the address, is there any other column we have to update?
Update date.
So we also have to update the update date, not the create date. So create date is the date when that record actually created inside the target table. But we know that record actually got created on 9/23. So we are not going to touch the create date. We just have to update the update date to 9/25 like this. That's it. Only those specific columns, not all the columns we have to update. We just have to update the specific columns in the target table. So which means
So the previous data will get deleted, right? Like before where he was, that data will get fully deleted from the target, right?
we should not say deleted, it will be updated with the latest data.
Okay, so we
It
can
will
get
be
the previous
refreshed.
data as well.
No, here we can't get the previous data. So we will have, so that is the aim here, to maintain the latest data or current data in the target table. That is SRE type 1. So in this
Okay.
scenario, we are not going to maintain the previous data. We are going to maintain the latest data. So currently he
Okay.
is in
Okay.
USC, the same data we'll maintain here. We don't bother about the
Okay.
previous data or old data or whatever he was earlier. So whatever data is present in the source table, the same we
Mm-hmm.
should have to we should have to populate in the target table. That is
Okay.
called as the type 1.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want previous data, then we have another scenario, SCD type 2. In the other scenario, there we'll discuss, we'll see how we can maintain the previous data also without deleting or without replacing. So there in SCD type 2, when we talk about SCD type 2, there I will explain how we can maintain the previous data also. But
Oh,
here
okay.
in SCD type 1, we maintain only latest data, whatever data present in the source, same as it is, it should have to populate in the target. That is called as type 1. Okay, so if the source record already present in target table and there is a change between source and target record, then what we have to do? Then we have to update target record with source latest data. So whatever latest data means, here US is the latest data. That one we have to update in the target table. So update target record. So we have to update the target record with source latest data. Okay. So these 3 points are very, very important points. Okay. So based on these 3 points only, in real time, many of the mappings will create. Okay. So we should have to remember these 3 points. Very, very important. Okay, so if the source record does not exist in the target table, then we have to insert the source record into the target table. If the source record already exists inside the target table and there is no change, then no insert, no update. We just have to leave that record as it is. If the source record already present in the target table and if there is a change between target source and target record, then we have to update the target record with source latest data. So while updating, we have to update the specific columns in the target table. Okay, so like we here in the first in this first row, we have updated the address and update date. Next for the second and third record, since there is no change, no insert, no update, we just have to leave that record as it is. Let's say again this employee he has moved USA to UK on 9/28. So on 9/28, we have got an update here, UK. So this one, let's say on 9/28. So if we move to UK on 9/28, so if we are going to execute this mapping on 9/28, then we know the source employee number already exists in the target table. So this time what we have to do? Again, there is a change between source and target record. We have to update the specific column, address USA with UK. And then also we have to update the update date. We should not touch the create date. So our mapping should update here UK and also it should have to update the update date with the system date. So sys date is now 9/28 like this. Here and for the second and third record, no change. If there is no change, no insert, no update. So fourth time before insert, before you execute, insert one new record in the source table. So if you are going to insert new record, first three records, there is no change, no insert, no update for the first three records. Next for the last fourth record, since that record does not exist, you should have to insert. So if it does not exist, insert. If it is already present and if there is a change, it should have to update the specific columns in the target table. That's it. So these three are the points which we have to remember, and we'll create a mapping for this now, how we can maintain the data like this in the target table. Clear? So you understand the concept, right? What needs to be done? Any questions here? So once you understand the scenario, what needs to be done, then only we can create a mapping. So it would be easy to create a mapping if you understand the scenario. So without knowing what needs to be done, directly if you go and start creating the mapping, you don't know, what needs to, I mean, like you don't know what transformation you have to create and what logic you have to write inside the mapping. Okay, fine. Next. So this is a source table. So I have the same 3 records inserted inside the source table for the first time. Okay, target table. We don't have any data. So let me drop this table and recreate. Let me check the data type once here. This one. What I will do is, so I will drop this one and recreate. Drop table. So while practicing, since in your system the target table would not be there, you should have to create the table like this first. Create table emp sua underscore t. Okay, and the columns. These are the columns. Okay, so here employee number, data type is a number, and so to get the primary key or employee number after data type, we have to write like this. So primary key. Okay, so primary key come. So create table name. Here we have to write the column name, data type, and the primary key, so that on top of this column primary key will be created. And then employee name varchar 2 of 10, comma, then address. There also character type of data, comma, create date. So instead of date here we have to take timestamp. Okay, so why timestamp, not the date? Because so we are going to run this mapping today only. After changing the data, we are going to run this mapping multiple times. If you are going to run tomorrow or day after tomorrow, you can see the difference in the date. But since we are going to execute today only, after executing the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, by making the changes, today only we are going to execute. So we are not going to see the difference in the date, but definitely we can see that difference in the timestamp. So that's why, so here we have to give the data type as timestamp. So like this we have to write a query to create a table. Okay, so this is the query to create a table. Execute, so you can see table created. Okay, so now if I see the data, we don't have any data in the target table. Clear? Okay, so next, so for the first 3 columns, data will come from source, employee number, employee name, address. How about create date and update date? So we will not get the data from the source for create date, update date. In our mapping we have to create, we have to, in the mapping we have to create which transformation to populate create date, update date with a system date. Which transformation? Any idea?
Ali, can you repeat your questions, please?
So here from the source, in target table for the first 3 column data will come from source, employee number, name, address. Create date, update date, we don't have those columns in the source table. So how we can populate create date, update date with the system date in the target table?
Using expression
Yes.
transformation.
Yes, expression transformation. So we have to create expression transformation. There we have tried sysdate. So first I have imported the source definition and then the target definition. Targets import from database. Connect. So you can see we have imported the target definition. Since there is a primary key constraint on the target employee number we have created, so you can see the key here. So by seeing this key in front of the column name, we can also identify, okay, so this column has a primary key constraint. Next, mapping m underscore emp sui underscore s underscore t. So here the source definition sui underscore yes, targets sui underscore t. Okay. And we have to create expression transformation, the mapping. Select all these put from the source, copy to the target definition. So here to populate, create it, update it. So we have to create two new ports, create date underscore wo, update date underscore wo, data type, date and time, date and time. Okay, so here we have to remove and instead of sys date, so I will write here sys timestamp. So timestamp we can use sys timestamp. Okay, so if you use sys timestamp, so we'll also get the timestamp there. Okay, so if you write sys date, we'll get the date. So here we'll get the system timestamp so that we are going to execute on same day. And by seeing the timestamp, we can identify. Okay, validate. Okay. Okay, so we have used this timestamp here because we need timestamp also. Apply. Okay. Now from these all ports, we can drag and drop to the target. That's it. So with this, we have created a mapping. So first three columns will come from source, and for these two created, updated, we'll get from expression transformation. Next, for this one, we'll create a session task and workflow. Tasks create. This is the mapping. Done. Workflows create wf underscore this one sui tasks link task. That's it. So with this we have created mapping session workflow everything, and it is ready to execute. So as soon as we start execute, so first time it will read all the three records from the source and it will insert all the three records into the target table. Okay, second time if we execute, again it will set all the three records and it will try to insert all the three records into the target table, because still we have not implemented anything to perform update else insert, right? This mapping we have created as the mappings which we have created before this mapping, like or general whatever mappings we have created, same way we have created this one. Have we implemented anything to perform SRE type 1 or to maintain the latest data or current data? No, right? So still we have not implemented anything. Okay. So then how this mapping knows that it should have to perform the update else insert? Here we have just created the primary key. So because of that primary key, it will not perform update else insert. Okay. So to perform update else insert, so what we have to do is we have to set these properties. Okay. So the first property what we have to do is go to the session task. Inside the session task, we have to go to the properties. Inside the properties, there is a property called treat source row as. So treat source row as we have to set it to update. That is the first property we have to set, and the same second property we have to set inside the session task. We have to go to the mapping tab. Under mapping tab, again we have to set the targets folder. Under targets, we'll find properties. Under properties, there we'll see target load type. This we have to set to normal. Same here itself, we have to set update else insert. There will be a checkbox. We have to enable that checkbox. So these properties we have to set inside the session task. Okay. So these two properties will have in the same location. The first property we have to go to the session task. This is the session task. Right click edit. Go to the properties tab. Under properties tab, here you can see treat source row as. By default, what is there? We have insert is there. We have to change that property. Select that one, and you have to set that into update. Okay, so this is not a, remember, this is not a programming language, right? This is a tool. Most of the things can be done by options like this. You should know which option we have to use when, right? Now in this scenario, to perform update as insert, so we have to select this treat source row as. So treat source row as we have to set it to update. That is the first property. The second property, we have to go to the same session task mapping tab. This is the mapping tab. Under that, we have to set the targets folder or target definition. So under targets, we can see the properties. So right side, you can see here we have the properties, right? So we have properties. Under properties, what is the first property we have to set? Target load type normal. So currently you can see target load type we have bulk. Okay, so if you click on bulk, you will get normal also. You have to change it to normal. Okay, not only in this scenario, remember whenever you have the primary key on the target table. So whenever you have the primary key constraint on the target table, any one of the column, definitely you have to change this option from bulk to normal. If there is no primary key, then fine. If whatever the option you set, that is fine. But if there is a primary key, you should have to set this option from bulk to normal. We'll discuss in detail again in future class what is the difference between bulk and normal. Okay, for now, you set this option target load type as normal. That is the first property. And then the second one is update else insert. Okay, so same here itself, you can see update else insert. Okay, not the other option. Other options don't touch, leave as it is. Whatever the other options are there, you just have to set this update else insert checkbox. We have to enable. Okay, so if you enable this update else insert checkbox, now this session knows that so what it should have to perform. As I told, like as soon as we execute, reader will give the priority first to the session properties, whatever the options we set here. So it will do the priority, or it will select those options, and based on that, whatever the properties we have selected, it will load the data into the target table. Now since we have enabled the update else insert checkbox, okay, so now this knows that reader will understand, okay, this it should have to perform update else insert, means if the source record does not exist, it should have to insert. If the source record already present and if there is no change, then it should have to, it should not do anything. And if the source code already exists and if there is a change, it should have to update the specific columns. Like that, it will understand. Okay, so we have not written any program or any coding here. We have just selected these properties inside the session task. Since we have set these properties inside the session task, that's why we are calling this scenario name as session level. So why we are calling this as session level? Because inside the session task we have set the properties to perform the update else insert. That's why we are calling this session level update else insert. Okay, fine. So after setting these properties, now we have set the properties to implement the SRE type 1. So for the first time, source table contains 3 records and target table we don't have anything. And since none of the record exists in the target table, so if I execute this one, all the 3 records are going to be selected from the source, and all the 3 records are going to be inserted into the target table, because we are sure none of the records present in the target table. Now you can see here we have got the output. So there are 3 rows in the source table, all the 3 rows inserted inside the target table. Now if I execute this target table query, so we can see we have got the data here with timestamp we have got, right? So all the 3 records inserted inside the target table. Okay. So since for the first time none of the record present in the target table, all the 3 records inserted inside the target table. Now what I will do is, so I will copy this output here, because we'll compare the first run and the second run result. We'll compare first run and the second run result. So before we execute second time, we will update one record in the source table. Source table set address is equals to USA, where employee number is equals to 1. So now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to update address to USA for employee number 1. So 1 row updated. After updating, don't forget to execute commit. Commit also completed. Now in the source table, so before we execute second time, we have updated one of the source address record. Okay, since I'm going to execute second time also same day, you will not find any difference in the date, but definitely we can see the difference in the timestamp. So we can see which are the columns it has updated, whether. So now since we have updated here in the source table, if I execute second time, okay, this workflow, if I execute second time, what changes we are expecting in the target table? This is the target table, right? So here what changes we are expecting?
Address and date.
Address and
Update date.
So update date, right? So here we can see the difference in the timestamp. So whatever the timestamp here we have, we should have to get the same timestamp. Okay. So now we'll see. We'll execute second time. Start workflow. Second time I have executed. Got succeeded. Okay. Fine. Now we'll see the data. So if I execute the target table query, so whatever we are expecting, so whether we have got the address or not. So we have got source address updated in the target table. How about the update date? So what is the update date? Here we cannot see the difference in the date, but definitely we can see the timestamp. So what was the timestamp earlier? 6:52. Now what is the timestamp here? We have got 6:55, right? So that means update date also updated or not?
Yes.
yes, it's
Yes.
updated.
But
So update date also updated.
yeah, Ali, just a minute. Why is the create date also updated? Is that by design?
Right. So here, if you see, create date also updated. Is it what we are expecting?
No.
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 No. How about for the second and third record? We didn't do anything for the second and third record in the source table. But here, if you see create date, update date for the second record also, is it updated or not?
It's updated because we have given timestamp.
No, it's not like that. So whether you give timestamp or if you don't give timestamp also, so at the back, if
This
you
date.
select these, yeah. So if you select these properties, session level properties to perform the update else insert. So remember, not only specific columns, we are expecting to update the specific columns, but this will not update the specific columns. This will update whole table. Employee name, address, create date, update date, everything it is going to be updated. Is it what we are expecting? No. We are
No.
expecting to update only the specific columns. Okay, but this will update the whole table. Whole table it will update. All the columns it is going to be updated and all the rows it is going to be updated, even though there is a change or if there is no change. Okay, so this is not we are expecting. So we are expecting something else, but here we have got something. So dates it should not update. Create date it should not touch. So how to overcome this? Now
Maybe
practically we have seen that if you perform these properties inside the session task, that it is going to work. First time it work fine. If the source record does not exist, it will work fine to insert that record into the target table. So if the source record already exists inside the target table, then what it is going to do, it will update whole table. So to overcome this, we have a transformation called update strategy transformation. This is very important transformation in real time. Most of the times to update the specific columns in the target table, we'll have the requirements to update the specific columns. So we create this update strategy transformation in mapping to update the specific columns. So mainly this transformation, mainly it is used, or mainly we can, or by using this transformation we can update the specific column. Update specific columns in target table. Okay, so in interview they may ask, like, tell me what is session level update else insert. What will happen if you enable that property? Okay, so but session level update else insert scenario, this one we do not create in real time. Okay, to maintain the latest data in the latest data or current data in the target table, this scenario we do not create in real time. Why will not create? Because so if the source record does not, I mean, it does not exist, it will work fine. If the source record already exists and if there is no change also, it is going to update whole table. So every time if it is going to update the whole table, then it's no use. We should not touch the create date. So that's why we'll not use this one. So in interview, if they ask, have you ever used a session level property to perform the update else insert means, you should have to say no. Okay, then they will ask, tell me why you have not used it. What is the disadvantage there we have? So we have to say, so if that option is used, then even though there is no change, or if there is a change, everything is going to be updated. So that is the reason we do not use that. Okay, just to check whether you know what is that property, they may also ask that question. But to overcome that in the mapping, to perform the update else insert or to update the specific column in the target table, okay, along with the other transformations, we have to create update strategy transformation. This is mainly we use to update the specific columns in the target table. Okay, generally here in update strategy transformation, we have 4 tags. So we have to use any of these tags inside the update strategy transformation. First one, dd underscore update, dd underscore insert, dd underscore delete, dd underscore reject. So these are the 4 tags we have in update strategy. So whenever you create update strategy in the mapping, definitely you should have to write any one of these tags inside the update strategy transformation. Okay, so 99% we write dd underscore update tag only, because as I told you, this is mainly we use to update the specific column. If you write dd underscore update tag inside the update strategy, it knows that at the back at runtime, it should have to write the update statement to update the specific columns in the target table. Okay, if you write dd underscore insert tag inside the update strategy, even though this is update strategy, at the back at runtime, it will write the insert statement to insert the data in the target table. By using update strategy also, we can insert the data, but to insert the data, we never use this update strategy transformation. 99% we use this dd underscore update tag only inside the update strategy transformation to update the specific columns in the target table. Very rare, or we never use these options inside the update strategy. You can say, if they ask, tell me which tag you have used in update strategy means. So in my current project or previous project, we have used only dd underscore update tag to update the specific columns in the target table. Okay, so we'll see how to use this update strategy transformation, where to write these tags inside the update strategy,
and how we are going to update